Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Walrus and Comic Podcast Sports Experience.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome.
We're happy to have you.
Very happy. All right, I
Go,
can't do this
Christian
anymore.
McCaffrey.
Whoa! We got some sports to talk about
Boom!
today, guys. How exciting is it that there's football news? And one that actually matters in the Carolinas, where we are located. And Brett, I can't believe it, but Christian McCaffrey, well, I say I can't believe it. Like, I understand why they do it, but highest paid running back in NFL, and he's being paid a ton of money.
I tried to tell
Well, you know, a
everybody.
few days before that, they were saying that he should be gone, that he could be gone. And it looks like the ownership was like, not happening.
Yeah.
Maybe he got a lot of, you know, when you're an owner in the NFL, I'm sure you get a lot of pressure from external sources and donors and stuff like that. And they might have said, hey, if you get rid of him, like, we're pulling out. And that could have been the case there.
Good.
But how cool is it that the guy who got, what percentage was he? Like 60%? There's like 47% of all plays went towards him last year or something. It's a very high number, obviously. Now, he's being paid for a couple things. Not just his running ability, but his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and avoid contact and make first downs.
And his height.
And his height, yeah. Well, I mean, you know. He's a good player.
He played running back.
Is he? What was the deal? $16 million a year for 4 years.
He's
Is that what
averaging
it is?
$16 million a year.
Averaging $16 million a year for
4
4 years. That is bonkers. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, Adrian Peterson. I can't remember what he got in his prime, but I don't think it was. I mean, that's like Chris Johnson numbers, isn't it? Like for the
Well,
amount
he's
of
the highest
dollars
paid
there?
in NFL history now.
Yeah. So, and I mean, he's good, but I don't know if he's Adrian Peterson at his peak good. I don't think he's got to his peak yet.
I said, if you remember, when it was being talked about him being traded, that you had potentially one of the top 5 greatest of all time there. You better keep him.
All barring whether or not he can stay healthy.
And he hasn't done enough to be put in the top 5 yet, and they just went ahead and paid him like that.
Hey,
they just went ahead and gave him top 5 money.
Here's the thing. I think it's a good thing. You're locking him down for 4 more years. Okay, that's a shelf life, anyways. Once he hits the end of this contract, I mean that's pretty much it. Like we see running backs can stay around, but are not nearly as effective because their bodies are worn out. Now, if he can keep avoiding contact, he can be like the guy
that he's already one of the greats.
The guy from the Eagles. Was it Westbrook? The one who was real small, who kept missing people. Like, he's been around for like 12 plus years or something. But Christian McCaffrey's offensive capabilities are much higher than that guy's. Yeah. And listen, I like the way the team is shaping up, but here's the thing. You got to make sure your O-line is like secure.
Which it hasn't been in the last 2 years.
Because you're going to have to take care of Teddy Bridgewater.
It's looked like I feel like I'm watching New York Giant games, watching Carolina Panther games.
Oh man, like
just go ahead and throw Eli Manning back there too. I mean, we might as well. We're gonna go downhill from here, huh?
Hey man, listen, I like I don't know, like I think you're gonna be all right. Teddy Bridgewater, Christian McCaffrey. Now, you lose your defensive guy, the love of your life, Luke Kuechly. You know, the guy that you were ready to have as babies, but that's gonna be tough. Like that, like you don't think about like that, but I mean that guy was a hoss.
The best linebacker in the NFL while he was playing. He was number 1 in the NFL while he was playing, and now he's gone.
All right, and here's the thing.
He might have been the number 1 player in the NFL. It's a stretch.
Listen,
it's a stretch.
I told you before on the podcast, like I always looked at him like Dan Morgan. Dan Morgan was one of my favorite Panther players growing up. Linebacker, always got concussions. Hit violently. And that's kind of the player he was. And listen, man, you got to look out what's best for you. Listen, I nowhere near. I played high school football, and I suffered probably 3 or 4 concussions in high school football. And there's some days I wake up and some things are a little cloudy. All right, I can't imagine what he's going through.
I've seen Luke Kuechly. You compare him to whoever you want, but I can't think of anybody else I can think of a couple. But I can't think of many people that I've seen line up on the left hash or the right hash or right side of the field and run a running back or a wide receiver down on the opposite side of the field.
Brian Urlacher could do it in his prime.
He was so quick.
You know what's funny about Brian Urlacher? Like, I learned this, and I was like, man, it blew my mind.
What?
You know he didn't do any conditioning? He had a chamber in his house that deprived his body of oxygen every night.
That's weird.
That kept him in on-field shape year-round.
That's weird.
So he could literally go out and run and play the games, but never conditioned outside of that. And that's how, like, they say, like, he stayed away. It's really dangerous, obviously, because you're not having as much oxygen to your lungs while you're sleeping. I'd be afraid of that. But, Brian Urlacher could do it. Ray Lewis could do it in his prime. Ray Lewis also shot a man, so, I mean...
Hey!
Trained killer, right?
The one man he couldn't catch, he caught him. All right?
So, let's... Just looking at your depth chart here for the Panthers. All right, so they did make a big signing. I like the Robbie Anderson sign. Are you familiar with Robbie Anderson? No, you're not, because you're not even a real fan of football. All right, actually, you would know Robbie Anderson if you were a fantasy football player. All right, so let me recommend this to you, bro. I think next year you need to do a fantasy football team. It's going to make you more well-rounded because it's going to make you pay attention to teams you don't care about. All right, so that's one of like the big things. Robbie Anderson was the biggest boom bust wide receiver you could get. 1 week he could get you 37 points. The next week he gets you 3 points. Okay.
Kelvin Benjamin.
He's better than Kelvin Benjamin was.
I was just saying, Kelvin Benjamin could go out and get you.
But Kelvin Benjamin nowhere near the athletic ability.
Could go out and get you a game, and then he could not do anything.
Yeah,
then he could drop 5 the next week.
Yeah, he doesn't really just drop 5. It's just not targetable the next week. It's really weird. Like, he just goes off, and then they double team him, and he doesn't get any points. And the next game, he's not double teamed. He gets a lot, and he's a great receiver with the ability to stretch the field really fast.
He sounds like the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Yeah. Well, talking about the South Carolina Gamecocks,
he can get you 50
there was
points
a signing at the wide receiver position from the University of South
Carolina.
Carolina. Pharaoh Cooper is assigned to the Carolina Panthers. Now, I enjoyed Pharaoh Cooper when he was a Gamecock.
He had some good moments with the Rams.
He has some good moments with the Rams. Maybe this is an opportunity that's good for him where he can go out and showcase, maybe be a wide receiver 2 or 3.
The only problem was the Rams had too much.
Yeah.
Rams didn't have an opening to become somebody.
Let's talk about, here you go. You ready for your receivers on your depth chart right now? Robbie Anderson, Pharaoh Cooper, Damian Jean-Pierre Jr., Curtis Samuel, Brandon Zalestria, and Ishmael Hyman. Okay.
So the Carolina Panthers are playing Moneyball.
That's what they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, for the receiver position.
Woo!
So literally, I think your starter goes Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, and then your second streamer is Pharaoh Cooper. That's your top 3 actually on the list. Now we got to go out. Well, I say we. I'm not a Panther fan. You are, but you got to go out and you got to draft a dynamic player at the wide receiver position coming out of college here. Mm-hmm. That's one thing that you're going to have to do. Take a risk on a guy in like the 3rd or 4th round who's from a small school but like blazing fast, like the Josh Gordon type thing. Josh Gordon had all the athletic ability in the world, just couldn't stop smoking pot.
Hey.
So, but that's illegal in the league rules. That's why you just can't stay in the league.
Ridiculous.
I mean, hey, we can argue about
it.
What's
wrong with the league?
I think the idea is that since it's not legal in all the states, they can't really allow it to be legal in the league.
Hey, buddy. You got an injury? I'd rather you do pain pills.
Oh, hey, listen. Sports have always gotten that flag, but until the United States legalizes medicinal marijuana like throughout the board or allows for recreational use throughout the board, the NFL could never allow that because then all your players are just going to sign contracts to go to the Denver Broncos, and nobody wants them to be good. So, yeah. But it was really nice to have some football news, right? Like, woo! I was expecting to see that he was traded.
That's what I thought when his name came up.
Everything I had been reading was saying trade. All the Panthers, like, the underground sites where you can see all the big things and get all the rumors, all was pointing towards being traded. And I'm so thankful that they didn't, because I think without Christian McCaffrey, they're not worth going to see next year. And I'm going to tell you this, as long as the NFL is playing next year, I will go to a Panthers game because I want to see Teddy Bridgewater. I might even buy a Teddy Bridgewater Carolina Panther jersey. All right? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be really real with you. He is probably one of my favorite quarterbacks. Even though he hasn't really done a crazy amount to prove it, he's just, his personality, I really just like the grind that he does. It was an unfortunate non-contact knee injury that took him out of Minnesota.
How does he feel about you being his only like on his fan page on Facebook?
Probably thinks it's amazing. Okay. I mean, you know what?
Even
if I can find a Teddy Bridgewater autographed Carolina Panther jersey, like whenever, and I'm sure they're probably out there now. Like, if I can pick it up for less than $150, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm gonna frame it. I'm gonna put it.
Well, I hope you can get it for less than $150. It's Teddy Bridgewater.
I mean, you're talking about your quarterback now. I know. I'm saying this is your quarterback. Just remember that in the middle of the season when he's like 1-4, it's just Teddy Bridgewater. Actually, no. I think if you could pull up the Carolina Panthers like their schedule for next year, is it out yet?
Oh.
Yeah. So if it's out, like, we can do some predictions here, because
right.
I think he's going to win you more games than your boy you let go.
I don't believe that.
I 100% do. Well, I mean, like, granted, the Carolina Panthers roster is nowhere near as good as the Saints roster, but there's
Here we go. I got the schedule. Give me a second.
Oh, we're getting the schedule pulled up here, folks. You're very live here at the Walrus and Comic Sports Podcast.
So do we have a way to make sure this is not?
Oh, was that Vikings game 2020? So
how do I know that it's not preseason?
Oh,
and this is not preseason. This is regular.
That's regular season. That's all I care about.
Why in the world, Atlanta?
Oh, that they don't have any dates. So like these dates to be determined. This is they're playing at Minnesota this year. That's sad. If they were playing at home versus Minnesota, I would say me and you are going to that game, because I can enjoy that game no matter what. Is the Green Bay one at home?
At Green
Bay. Jesus Christ.
Rough.
The Carolina Panthers schedule this year. Like, all right, so let's look at this. Okay, Atlanta. I think they split that.
Can we just go by quarterback real quick?
Oh yeah, sure. Tom
Ryan. Brady.
Oh, well, you go Matt Ryan first.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan. I think they split with Matt Ryan.
Is that right?
I really think they do split with him.
Right.
Like, listen, I don't think they sweep him, but I don't think they get swept by them either.
All right.
I think they find a way to get one of the two.
All right. Just all right.
New Orleans Saints, Drew Brees. I think that's an L.
Yeah.
Actually, what if? Hear me out now. Is that no? That says versus New Orleans at home. What if Teddy Bridgewater comes out and says, "You know what, Sean Payton, you could have given me the money to stay there, but you wouldn't." He comes out and destroys the Saints. This is coming out party. Can you feel me? Can you dig it?
Get off my podcast.
Listen. All right. Versus Tom Brady in the Tampa Bay. What did you see? He trademarked he tried to trademark his names and stuff.
Hilarious.
Great. Tampa Tom. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sweep the Panthers.
Yeah, I do too.
I actually think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the division.
Yeah.
I think they'll.
I don't think they're gonna be great. I think they're gonna be safe. I think they're gonna be.
I think they're
gonna be 10-6.
Here you go. I think they sweep Atlanta. They split New Orleans. They sweep the Panthers. And then so I'd have to pull up the rest of their schedule. Who else?
What do they do to the Falcons?
Oh, they sweep the Falcons.
All right, they sweep the Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons.
Sweep Panthers. And I think they.
Here you go. Here's their schedule. Look at the schedule. All right, so let's go to Tampa Bay Tom and the Buccaneers. Okay.
10-6.
Here you go. All right, so they're playing Atlanta, Carolina, Chicago, Denver, Detroit, New Orleans, New York Giants, Las Vegas. No, there's no way they're 10-6. There's absolutely no way. All right, here you go. All right, you ready for this? At Atlanta, they beat Atlanta. At Carolina, they beat Carolina. At Chicago, who's their quarterback?
Who knows?
Exactly. They beat Chicago Bears. All right. At Denver, they beat them. At Detroit, they beat them. At New Orleans,
They lose.
They're going to win one and lose one.
They're going to lose that.
Well, I mean, at New Orleans, they'll lose. We'll give them that. All right, so we got one loss. New York Giants, they'll win that. Las Vegas Raiders, they'll win that. Versus Atlanta, sweep them. Carolina, sweep them. New Orleans, at home, they'll win that. Versus Green Bay, at home, going to be a great game. Even if you give them the loss there and say Green Bay wins. Versus Minnesota, I think they beat Minnesota, even though I'm a Vikings fan because I don't like Kirk Cousins.
Kansas City beats them.
Kansas City beats them. 3-loss team.
Stop it.
3-loss team?
Stop it.
All right, possibly 4 if Minnesota beats them or if the Rams beat them. But I don't think the Rams are good anymore. I mean, the Chargers are good. So, like, they are a 2 or 3-loss team. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You heard it here on the Sports Podcast Report. The Walrus is saying the Buccaneers are only losing 3 games next year.
It looks real good on paper, but I'm picking them to lose some that they should 10-6.
There's no way they go.
I don't want to say.
Tom Brady does not go 10-6 there. I'm telling you, he doesn't. Their schedule is set up for him to be a champion.
Okay.
I'm just saying, dude. Like, you don't want to hear it from me because I'm a Viking fan and you're a Green Bay Packer fan.
Right now, you're listening to this. Scroll down to the comments and just say 10-6.
All right. For
Just
real,
say
though,
10-6.
if you're watching this podcast, whatever time it is, I don't even care if it's in 2022.
Yeah.
If you're watching this,
Scroll
tell
down
us
and
what
say
you think the Tom
2026.
Brady-led Buccaneers are going to be.
10-6. 10-6.
No. Tell them let us know. But I'm going to be honest with you. This guy doesn't know sports. He's a comic. I do know sports. They're going to be 13-3.
He's a high school track coach.
That's right. Boom. Flex a little bit. Boom. All right. All I'm saying, they're going to be really good. They're winning that division. They lose one time in the division, and that's to the Saints. It's the only one they drop. I don't see them dropping any other games in those divisions. I think they sweep them. Their athletic talent is too good. All right, so let's shift gears a little bit. That's all the NFL we can really cover. I do want to say this. If you're out there, you're a praying human being, like you love to pray, please pray that college football starts on time this year. That's like my biggest worry. The comic, he doesn't even care. He's texting while we're on the podcast right now, trying to find some girl out there who will give him love. His heart is broken. So if you're listening out there, you got a girl, like a sister or cousin who's single, ready to mingle, please direct him to the Comic's way because he's a sad man. Look at his face. He doesn't even have real eyebrows. Like, we had to paint them on before this.
I don't know what that means. He's not the comic. He's just the Walrus. Dark Side of the Ring.
Dark Side of the Ring.
The Chris Benoit story.
Okay, so we've been spending a lot of time talking about wrestling on this podcast lately because that's really the only essential sport there is. Da-da-ts. Did you like what I did there, Brett? Da-da-ts.
Can you believe that?
Essential. The WWE found a way to grease some pockets and become an essential business in the state of Florida.
We are in a time.
Listen, Vince
where
McMahon has a lot of
ESPN
power.
needs WWE.
That's right. That's right.
Shoot
How crazy is it? Listen. They need the WWE, and the WWE can do their events without exposing mass amounts of people. Like, I mean, you can keep it kind of confined.
Yeah. What'd you think of the documentary?
Well, first and foremost, do you like documentaries, Brett?
Yeah.
Are you a documentary guy?
I'm a documentary guy.
You know, I never really saw you like that.
It has to be something. It has to be something I give a shit about.
Yeah. Well, there's not much of that.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's
me.
wrestling,
Sometimes.
football.
Yeah.
You like the ESPN 30 for 30s?
Comedy. I mean, it's
comedy.
a thin.
Hey.
It's got to be something I give a shit about.
So Dark Side of the Ring, fantastic.
A murder suicide. Something I give a shit about. Give that to me. I'll take 2 scoops
right.
of that.
I would not care about a murder suicide unless it was the like
Give
a
me
wrestler.
some.
Right. So, man, let me tell you, Chris Benoit, first of all, we have to reestablish the fact, if you haven't watched any of our former podcasts, number one, go back and do that.
Yeah.
You can see them on the YouTube page. If you're following us on Facebook, you can see them there. We've posted every single one of them for you. Some have videos, some are just audio. Listen, go back and check out this because we give a lot of perspectives early on just to kind of let you know who we are as people. First and foremost, so if you haven't seen that, let me explain to you. I grew up a WCW guy. We are both from South Carolina. We live 25 miles apart from each other. It's like 20 miles apart from each other. Like, I literally teach him. This is my former student. Look how great he turned out. I missed the boat on that one.
You did.
But we live like 20 miles apart from each other, and I think we can understand that, like, in the state of South Carolina, Ted Turner pretty much owned it, right? So if you were a Carolina Panther fan, but you were an Atlanta Braves fan, because North Carolina didn't have a baseball team, so you had to go to Atlanta, but you weren't really a Falcons fan. I only know a few Falcons fans from South Carolina.
WCW Wrestling.
WCW Wrestling, with Tony Schiavone. What a great
We're out of time. We gotta go.
And so, I want you to understand that I started out as a WCW guy. I know Brett did as well.
Chris Benoit killed his wife.
His dad was a huge Ted
And his
Turner
little
guy.
boy.
So, Chris Benoit.
He was out of time.
You're terrible.
All right.
That's insane. That's so bad. That's terrible. People don't want to hear you say that Chris Benoit was out of time.
He's out of time. He's got to go.
All right. So let me
the
try to get back on track here. And I was a big Chris Benoit fan growing up. I'll admit to you. All right. So top tier WCW wrestlers for me.
Man,
my favorite was Sting.
You remember last week when Randy Orton and Edge were going to give us a how-to?
How to
get down on the machine, take the chain. This is how he did it.
Jesus, if you didn't watch the WWE's WrestleMania 36, you need to go watch that Last Man Standing.
We almost got a reenactment.
Yeah, Randy Orton almost hung Edge on gym equipment, and that would have been crazy because Chris Benoit was found strung up in his gym.
Imagine this.
I'm imagining.
It would, because I thought about it.
Yeah.
Now, imagine this was taped, all right? This WrestleMania. They were just those two, a camera and a sound crew. You can do as many takes as you want.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment thing.
Yeah.
It had to happen, and everybody in the room had to say, yep, that's a good idea. We'll take it.
You know what's funny?
It was not something that just happened in the moment.
I imagine that I think they actually cut that scene. I think he did something else there. Like, if you look at it, there was it seemed like there was a non-natural transition there. It looked like he was literally about to string him up by his neck, and the next thing you know, it's just a shoulder in there. Go back and look at it.
Right.
I think you can see, I think he might have actually tried to lift him up physically, and then somebody's like, no, we can't do that.
Easy, buddy.
That. And I think that's what happened.
You gonna hit him with a flying headbutt next?
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
So
you got a knife under there?
Let me go ahead and say this. So Sting was my number one, right? He's my favorite wrestler of all time.
Woo!
I had the foam finger, I had posters, I had action figures. Like, Sting was my guy. Even when he was the black and white, wasn't talking, I saw him at like wrestling events in the rafters. Like, it always just kind of things like that. I was a big Sting fan. After Sting was Diamond Dallas Page.
Ooh.
Huge DDP fan.
Ooh.
And I didn't like him as much when he was the heel, but going against the NWO, he was one of my guys. Because remember that was that period of the year where Sting didn't do anything for a whole year, and it was so masterful. What a great storyline that was! Like, I mean, it's just so simple, and you're just waiting for it every week. Is it going to be the time? Is he going to talk? Is he going to come down? And DDP was the guy just resisting the NWO, fighting it along.
I'm going to go off camera. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'll just be right. I'm back.
Oh, man. That was quick, man. I thought you had to go take a dump.
No. I would do that on camera.
Hey, yeah, do a little Zoom meeting live. You know what? One of these days, I think we're going to go live on Facebook so we can we go live as the Walrus and Comet, and we could do an actual live podcast that will be saved on our Facebook page for us. And I think that's something, if you want to see us do a live one, let us know in the comments below. Let us know on the Facebook group page. Help us get the word out, guys. Share this for us.
Comment on whether or not you want us to have a live show after you tell Jackass they're going 10-6.
I don't know who he's calling a jackass, but that's him. So tag him at Jackass101. He will answer all your questions. Actually, if you ever comment on any one of our videos, Brett is the guy.
Back to you.
Brett is the guy who does answer you. I don't answer people.
I'll get back to you.
I have a real life.
I'm
Brett
a man
doesn't.
of people.
And I want to say this, like, we're asking you to like and share and post these things. Guys, we're not being paid at all for this.
Nope.
Let's just be upfront about it. We have no sponsors.
Nope.
All right? Brett's not very marketable. Look at that face. Okay?
Put me on a t-shirt.
You know, actually, we're working on a t-shirt because I really want to get it out there. I like our logo. I like the nice bearded walrus. Okay?
Oh, man.
I think I'm beautiful and I need to be showed off to the world.
He thinks he is. Little does he know.
Little does he know. But so we want to kind of get this out there. It can be very discouraging sometimes to see like numbers be really low in viewership, and then some numbers be really high, and some be low, some be high, and you know that's probably from a lack of experience thing of just understanding how to understand the numbers and appreciate the numbers for what you have, what you don't have. But guys, we're not making any money at all. Doing this for free because we love sports and we love podcasting.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it's just a great opportunity for you guys to help us, help you, and to provide more content.
Once and I have nothing better to do than talk to you all.
And also, like, if I can't stress this enough, if you want to hear us talk about something in particular, we will talk about it. You can comment, you can ask us. You want us to cover the whole history of Chris Benoit's career?
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
I would love to do that actually, because I can go. We can split it up between WCW, WWE.
Yeah.
And one of us could do one, and one could do the other. We don't mind doing that. But let's talk about this documentary. First and foremost, the first thing I got for it, his son that's still alive is disillusioned.
Yeah.
He is out of his mind.
He's a weird kid.
Like, looking at him on camera, he's breaking down, this wasn't my dad. I don't know who this was. My dad would have never done this.
But see, I think that's not crazy. I don't know if it was him.
Well,
I don't know if it was him.
I don't think it was. Like, I think we don't really understand what brain injuries actually do.
So you think he's always been the guy that's like, I'm going to kill these fucking kids and this woman.
And see, that's the thing. Like, you look at it, like, his son describes him as, like, actually, not just his son. Everyone describes him as a loving father and a loving husband. The guy who bailed the girl out of the abusive relationship, and she married him. And usually in life, what we see is the girl gets bailed out of the abusive relationship, and then she finds someone else. Do you notice that? You ever think about that? But he married the woman. First off, I didn't realize he married the woman.
Should we be worried about Otis?
Oh, no. Not Otis. What if in real life that actually happened? What if Otis would be my hero? No, not if he killed her, but in real life, if he got the woman.
Okay.
Like, in real life, if
Otis would be my goddamn hero.
No, yeah, if he just, like, murders her.
If he went to town with all of them.
No. I guess I misunderstood the question you were asking me. But Otis would be my hero if he actually got the woman in real life.
Okay.
Because if he can do it, I can do it.
All right, so I don't think Kid was wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think it was him that did it. I mean, it was him. It was the guy, him.
But mentally, he wasn't.
Mentally, I don't know if it was.
We're
5-6 years ago. I don't know if he would have done whatever the English is if he would have to his family.
Imagine if the wrestling organizations had the concussion protocols in place already. Like, imagine. We could still have Chris Benoit. He would be a Hall of Famer right now. And that's the shameful thing. Like, we can't separate the man and what he did from his career and what he did. Because his career and what he did, Hall of Fame category. 110%. Should have been in the Hall of Fame the same year as Eddie Guerrero. Right?
Right.
Like, 100%. But we can't separate the fact that he killed his family.
No.
And killed himself.
You shouldn't separate it either. He sees that
man.
If you could get definitive evidence that he wasn't mentally there, then you could not a pass, but you could say, all right, we can separate it a little bit.
Can I tell you that I could care less about somebody's life and what they did personally versus what they actually are known for?
I know a lot of people do that.
Do you like Bruce Willis movies? Did you like the movie Armageddon? You
I'll
know,
do a lot of
did
Bruce
you-
Willis movies, but I like Bruce Willis. Give me two. What do you do?
Oh, just like in general, like
Axl Rose was allegedly a bad guy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Guns N' Roses.
I've heard terrible things about Bruce Willis and how he treats people and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, like there's so many. Like
Vince McMahon
so man, I love the WWE.
is off the rails.
I mean,
and
he
nobody
is off the
cares.
rails. But there are a lot of people that I just could care less. Oh, you ever thought about, like, I really love the show House of Cards.
Mhm.
Kevin Spacey's the lead actor.
Whoa,
And,
what a
you know, and he allegedly touched
what
a
a
kid,
weird
right?
guy he is.
Yeah, but like, does it take away from his acting ability? No, it just.
He can act his ass
And
off.
think of this, like, there's so many, all the big conspiracies about, like, the child pornography ring in Hollywood, and, like, all these just different things of all these alleged, like people love just, like, doing these crimes. We don't know for sure. They're allegations.
Doing these crimes.
Yeah. Well, people love them. I mean, like.
I just like the word on it.
Yeah.
People love doing these crimes, man.
They do love doing those crimes because they wouldn't do them otherwise.
Out
Like,
here.
but stuff like that, like, man, you will never take away that memory of WrestleMania, Chris Benoit winning the title, Eddie Guerrero winning the title, celebrating in the middle of the ring, hugging each other.
It's
You
weird.
will not take that memory away from me.
It's weird too, in that like the people that are still alive and still doing it. The WWE Network had the other day. It was like Randy Orton's greatest matches. 2004 SummerSlam.
Yeah.
How can you have anything Randy Orton's greatest anything without him becoming the youngest world heavyweight champion ever at 2004 SummerSlam against Chris Benoit?
Yeah. I mean,
How can you have a greatest anything without that match in it?
yeah, exactly. But we as we see, like, you know, they've worked hard to kind of scrub a lot of those. Like, you can still see those matches, but like they just
Randy Orton competes in world heavyweight title match. Is the
headline.
the
Is that the
tag.
headline on the thing?
Yeah, that's the
Really
tag.
is
Like
what
if
it
you
says?
go to 2004 SummerSlam and you have the chapters of matches you can select, it says Randy Orton competes in world heavyweight title match.
But they can't take away all his matches. They're there. People remember them.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Like, every match, he didn't have bad matches.
One of my favorite matches of all time was like some obscure. It's like 2000, 2001. Whenever the
Invasion?
no, it was the God. They had a name. It was Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero.
The Radicals.
The Radicals
Yeah.
were coming over, and
Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit and Triple H had a main event on SmackDown.
Yeah.
They beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah. Well, I remember that match.
It was so
Great.
good.
Going back to the documentary, though, like, I never realized how close Eddie and Chris Benoit really were.
You know, I kind of picked up some Chris Benoit was in love with him vibes.
Man, so you don't experience a lot of the normal feelings that normal human beings do. I feel like I understand it as, like, they were like brothers, like literally brothers.
Man,
I know. I get the angle you're going here.
it went a little
But
deep.
Listen though, like, that was like saying, anyone who's listening to our podcast knows sometimes we bring our buddy Nick in.
Mm-hmm.
You and Nick are super close. And I think if one of you lost each other, one of you would probably have a tough time the next couple months getting through the day.
His went a little deep.
Like, I mean,
His went a little.
it might
deep.
not have been the only thing that went deep, but I mean,
That's.
it's just the guy. Like, you get, like, listen. I know a couple people in my life, like, who are my
Man,
friends.
every day he's just in Eddie Guerrero's gym,
Well,
sitting on his equipment, crying.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
he's just.
Dude, but listen, right? Your situation is so different because anyone who doesn't know you doesn't know that you're a walking time bomb and could die anytime. And you're kind of like come to terms that, hey, you might die anytime and you don't really care like that. But most people, I mean, the idea of that scares people to death, right? I know that you talk about being prepared. And
It was
ready.
a little romantic thing.
Right.
Vibes.
How would I-
You do agree or disagree?
No, it seemed like it. But do you not have a best friend that, like, is really like your ride or die? Like, you go to for everything.
Sure,
Like,
but
I mean, it's
I don't know if I would be hit as hard as he was hit. He was hit
Also,
like it was a
I mean,
spouse.
also
Like it was a wife of 30 years.
We don't have the same perspective because they traveled the road together for 15 years. Literally, there were times that all they would do is see each other. I don't think there has to be romantic stuff there.
I got it.
To understand.
No, I'm not saying there was.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe in him, and he never expressed it, and it was like.
Yeah, I mean that could be it too. But I mean, you know, you're talking about losing a guy that you see as your brother, and you know, I just think it would be tough. I know a couple people in my life that I'm super close with. If I lost, I probably would have a tough time recovering from that. I probably wouldn't be able to go to their places anymore. I probably wouldn't be able to go see them at their graveside area because it would impact me so much. So I get that, man. Like, I understand that completely. But no, hey, there's always a side we don't actually know what was going on.
It beat his ass. It beat him down.
It did. I mean, like, you ever experienced losing a relationship with a girl you really liked and it wore you down and kept you from leaving your house or kept you from wanting to do anything for like a month or two?
A month or two.
No, not a month or two? Man, listen, there was this girl that I was with. I was like 100% wanted to marry, and there was a period of a month where I didn't leave my house or my dorm room. I didn't leave. Like I'd just go to class, come home, come back to my dorm room, and sit in darkness, man.
But it was a
yeah, I get it.
Friend.
I get it. Yeah, I do understand that. But there are friends in your lives that you are closer to than your girlfriend.
Chris Benoit was about to suck his dick.
I mean,
and he couldn't because he died.
Yeah,
and he was like,
just
"Well,
hung there." I mean,
what am I gonna do now?
I don't know. All right, so back to the documentary. Eddie Guerrero's wife, Vicky. She painted a beautiful picture for us, right, of the relationship between the two. I also didn't realize Eddie was very religious.
I didn't either. I didn't realize that.
So the way she described it was like it was very important to him.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it goes to show that people are spiritual, religious, but also struggle very heavily in things that are sinful. Eddie Guerrero struggled in like drugs and alcohol addiction. All right, so we know that. But I didn't realize he was like that much of a spiritual person. Like she talked about him giving out Bibles to people and everything. Like that's something I had never heard before.
Yeah,
so
that's never.
That was a kind of cool story to hear. I also didn't realize that. Well, you never think of it during this time. Canadians really aren't that religious, I guess. Like what, Roman Catholic and Muslim, I think. Are probably like their biggest like religious groups
what the
there.
hell they got going on?
And a lot of them probably aren't very. So like she talks about Chris Benoit not being very, but like he took the Bible, always had it with him because it was important to Eddie.
Yeah.
Hey, dude might have been in cahoots with him for real. All right, we'll never know, but we can look at it this way: as they had a ride or die relationship where they were there for each other. Eddie Guerrero dies. Like, here's the thing: if Chris Benoit dies instead of Eddie Guerrero, we never have this problem. I don't think. But I think, man, you want to get the science and all this stuff. I think depression and all this stuff affects people differently. Obviously, right? I think that the way we compartmentalize things can impact the way anxiety and depression.
I think what killed him. I think it was just everything in one big storm of it was the whatever testosterone, whatever he was taking. It was the depression and anxiety. It was the losing his friend. It was the concussions. It was the CTE.
Yeah, I don't think
everything he had going on made this thing in his brain, and he just.
You lose the one.
And I think it just flipped the switch.
And think of this: you lose the one person you talk to about everything. And now you don't know how to deal with it because you don't have that one person. Literally, that's...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it does... I can't say that it does that to me, but he also had brain injuries to go with it.
Yeah, brain injuries.
Drug use.
Everything adds up to the perfect storm.
Right. It flipped the switch in him and he did what he... The problem is, like they said, that we're never going to know what happened in that house that weekend.
Yeah.
Nobody in the house is alive. You're never going to know what...
The craziest thing is, though, like, how do you kill your wife
A day apart each.
Sleep that
A day
night.
apart each.
Kill your son the next day. Sleep that night.
How do you? She was dead Friday night. His son was dead Saturday, and he was dead Sunday.
Maybe
that is weird.
So he was supposed to be picked up Saturday by Chavo Guerrero.
What is happening in the house?
What if it was a cry for help? He wanted Chavo to come in to see his wife dead, so he didn't kill his kid.
But was his kid already dead?
No, they said he killed them all a day apart.
Yeah, but he got the Chavo said he got that text message
4 in the morning.
Yeah,
5 in the morning.
On a Sunday morning though.
No, he got it on a Saturday too. I thought. I thought it was Saturday. It was a Sunday.
The Sunday morning.
Okay.
The text he got on Sunday morning was the side doors open and the dogs are out back or something like that. He's like, what the hell is this man talking about?
And then he got it from his wife.
Everybody got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody got it from Chris and his wife. Everybody got that text. Side doors open and the dogs are out back. He's like, what the hell is he talking about? And they sent somebody there and everybody was dead.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I just can't fathom being at that point. But
nobody can. You have to be there to.
Yeah. The flying headbutt, like, and his son does that
like,
stupid
stop
move.
Doing it.
His son does the move.
Yeah.
Like, he idolizes the guy.
And the first man to do it, I can't remember who they said. I can't remember who they referenced. But he said, this is going to destroy your spine and your neck, and you, like, don't do it. And Chris Benoit was like, no, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And he did it, and he ends like he ends, and his son said, no, I'm doing it. Yeah. What do you have to do?
His son was crazy. Like, his son just, like, it blew me away. Like, just talking about this. So he talks about being bullied because of his dad. He talks about all this stuff, like how the WWE never reached out to him, never, did anything for him.
What a man is Chris Jericho.
Man.
Jesus.
Chris Jericho, the greatest heel.
Is there a better person on earth?
I mean, there's no better heel than him, obviously. You know what? You know what's crazy? If Chris Jericho was in the WWE right now, he'd be the champion on Raw. Yeah. 100% you'd have to put on him.
Yeah.
He'd be better than Seth Rollins, would he not?
Yeah.
I know how much you love Seth Rollins.
Yeah, he would
His
be.
And
I just saw an article that said he's challenging Drew McIntyre. That's what we're doing now.
Can you imagine this? Can you imagine this? Chris Jericho, #1 heel in the world in wrestling, on Raw again, and he has his faction, and Seth Rollins is in the faction.
Shoot me in the face!
Oh, I know you would love it. Like, I can't stop laughing because I know you love them both so much.
What if they made him a geek? Like, they made Seth Rollins like a, what was the guy's name? The announcer that followed Chris Jericho around for a while.
I can't remember. Howard Finkel?
Howard Finkel. What if they made Seth Rollins like a Howard Finkel geek? Like, he just carried Chris Jericho's bags around every time he said something. Chris Jericho was like, shut up!
That'd be great, but, Seth Rollins is the guy. He's WWE's guy.
That's where he belongs. Yeah. That's where he belongs, is as a geek.
I need to show off my Vikings hat a little bit.
Shut up. He belongs as a geek.
A geek, huh?
You know what I mean? That's his place in WWE.
I know that
a damn geek.
He can't talk, and that's your biggest qualm with him. He says stupid stuff. Okay, his wrestling's good.
He can't stop saying stupid stuff.
I mean, you know what? Can you blame the guy? Listen, honestly, can you blame the guy? He sleeps with Becky Lynch every night. You think you could speak normally?
He was stupid before.
I mean, but it just compounds, right?
Yeah.
It makes him doubly stupid.
I would just...
But he gets Becky Lynch.
Ridiculous!
Hey, man. She loves the guy. Or understands that he's the cash cow.
Yeah.
And she wants to be the cash woman.
Man, I just love how much of a goober you are.
Me?
No! Seth Rollins! Seth Rollins!
Oh, I thought you were talking about me. I was like, Goober, I'll beat your tail right here on the podcast. Yeah. You gonna fight? You gonna go to Pound Town? Aha. All right.
Are we doing Chris Jericho Ed Guerrero thing? Yeah.
Can we do a Christian and Edge thing? I about fell and hit my head on the table, but bam! Can we do a little kazoos? All right. Dark Side of the Ring. 2 episodes. The first episode was literally just building him up as a great person.
Yeah.
The second episode, tearing him down as a bad person. Like,
but wasn't that like...
I mean, yeah.
That's how every conversation about him goes, though. Yeah. It's like, man, he was so...
What about Dean Malenko, man? He didn't look like he was in good shape.
What?
Did he?
I thought he looked good.
No, Dean Malenko.
Yeah.
He looked like he was shaking a lot.
Oh,
Like
I didn't see that. I
like,
thought he looked good.
go back and look at his thing. I mean, it looks almost like he has Parkinson's or something. Like he's sitting in the and he's like doing
He might. He's from that era.
Yeah, he's in that full body shape.
He
He also, I mean, I imagine he had a lot of head trauma.
Yeah,
too.
he might.
So like you go and look at it, I was like, man, like he just doesn't, because they kept it very high on him, right? Did you notice that? Like his shot was very up.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wonder if something's going on there, and there could be. But man, one of my favorite wrestlers goes crazy, you know, and kills his family and kills himself, and we can never speak good things about him ever again because of the bad thing he decided to do. But man, what about his wrestling ability? I mean, you're talking like first ballot Hall of Famer. You're talking like a guy who didn't actually need the title because he was a worker, man. Like he was a worker, but he deserved that one title he got.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was a good transitional champion, right? But he's just a great worker.
I would almost, if he had never won a title, I would compare him to Ted DiBiase. Was a good worker, but never hit.
But Ted,
and a lot of people said he deserved the title.
Man, he was a talker, man. He could talk. Shit. He could. He needs to be the guy teaching all these performers how to talk.
Yeah.
Like that's 100% what they should be doing because, I mean, his just ability was so good. Oh man, like I'm just thinking about it. Like I'm 30. I'm a little older than you. I guess I can remember a little bit more naturally than you. But that's the beautiful thing about the network.
Yeah.
For $10 a month, I can go back and watch anything.
Yeah, I can see it
I like
all.
to watch the stupid Canadian Stampedes that are on there. And I literally will go watch some of those. And then I tried to go watch ECW old stuff, and I was thinking, man, as a kid, I was just so in love with the violence because there's no good wrestling in this thing. There's like 6 people who could wrestle: the Dudley Boys, RVD, Tommy Dreamer. I like Chris Candido a lot. I mean, he could do it, but like, okay, Sandman really couldn't wrestle. He was just drunk in the ring.
Yeah, he just
taking a lot of hits to the
hit
head.
people.
Yeah. I was just like, I didn't really like the big Shane Douglas thing. That was just one wrestler I just never liked. Like, it seems like not a lot of people liked him either. So, yeah, I think when you look at it, the Dark Side of the Ring, I think they did a great job sharing the story. I think they had the right people there as well. Dean Malenko, Vicky Guerrero, Chris Jericho, just all these people who had a lot of really good stories that could tell about this. I thought it was just, oh man, it was so well done. And I'm gonna go watch other ones. People have told me like the Kurt Angle one's really good too.
Isn't there a Montreal Screwjob one?
There might be a Montreal Screwjob. Isn't there one about Shane McMahon too? Like I want to go watch them because it looks like they're putting a lot of work into them. I didn't realize how much work went into that document. When I started watching it, I was like, oh,
they did a lot.
This looks like a real documentary.
Yeah, they did a lot. And
then I kept watching. I was like, Jesus Christ, they put a lot of work into this.
Yeah, they did a lot.
And it was very nice to watch. So, but yeah, man, I'm glad you recommended it to me. I saw things about it. I probably wouldn't have really watched it because like I've been so consumed with Animal Crossing or been consumed with Call of Duty Warzone. I like to do the plunder category. We got some changes coming to a podcast. We're gonna start doing some different stuff with the video game one.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that.
Squawking and Talking is coming back.
Yeah, Squawking and Talking will be back. And we're just going to kind of do a little something different with it.
Yep.
And so keep your eye out for that. We'll link those we'll link them into the podcast area for ours, and then we'll probably end up creating an actual like page for Squawking and Talking as well, and we can link them up.
That's right.
So we'll do some of that stuff, and just keep your eye out. We're going to hopefully move towards doing an Instagram as well. We just got to, Brett and I personally have to talk about a lot of things to kind of figure out some stuff. And as soon as the stimulus check comes in, this camera is getting an upgrade because right now we're just using our laptop one. And I'm thankful I have it, okay? Don't get me wrong, because I like this. I mean, I did like just the audio only as well, and I think that's something we can look at doing because we can connect a TV to this or another screen and then have the audio going here, and we're looking at some different things. Maybe trying to get on apparently it's not that hard to get on iTunes for a podcast.
Really?
Because everyone and their mother has it on. I looked at some podcast page on Facebook, and everyone has theirs on iTunes.
Interesting.
So we're going to look at doing the audio on there. We just personally have to make time to sit down and do it. But for right now, it's doing it for the love of what we're doing. Now, with that said, we'd like to say if you want to inquire about some sponsorship opportunities, we are definitely willing to hear that. And listen, I can sell some sponsorships. I can give you a voice like... Now, tune in to the Walrus and Comic Podcast, sponsored by da-da-da-da-da. And I can give you a story. I can sell
And obviously, if you don't want him to do that, I'll sell it.
That's right. If you'd rather me write
So please don't do that.
I can write the advertisement. Don't worry. I'll make it sound really good. Or if you have one, listen, reach out to us. Let's get it going. I'm excited about what we're doing. And even though it's a weird time in sports, oddly, it's kind of refreshing because... we had different ideas on how to do things, and this is kind of showing us different perspectives of stuff. So we're kind of having to keep it a little more thematic than we wanted to, but it's allowing us to kind of investigate some things, right?
That's right. Can we talk about, real quick,
Okay.
I forget about this. Can we talk about Shang Tsung?
Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
What about him?
Yeah, well, he's building his fight island.
Are you talking about Dana White?
Yeah, Dana White starting fight island. You think that's going to work? It's going to work out?
I mean, I would love for it to, but it seems like ESPN put the little stop order on them.
I think ESPN on ESPN Disney. I don't know how much you can threaten Disney.
I don't think you can.
But I think
Disney probably owns the whole country.
I think maybe it sounded like Congress. It sounded like maybe the senators in California put a little pressure on Disney. Maybe ask him to. Well, why don't you ask Dana White to step down?
How about this? How crazy is it that a guy who started a company who was personally anti-Semitic is one of the biggest companies and revered companies in our country? A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people don't know that Walt Disney hated the Jews.
Yeah.
He 100% hated them.
Talk about Walt Disney like that.
Cryogenically frozen under one of the parks to hopefully one day be brought back to life. Because, Nazi Germany was, experimenting with bringing people back to life. So, they're literally, his body is down there frozen in pristine condition to hopefully one day come back. Did you know that?
And that's Walrus in the Comic, ladies and gentlemen. We bring you only the facts.
Hey, if you want, I can always add more history into stuff, right?
We only bring you the facts.
I will bring you facts, opinions, conspiracies. Let us know what you want to hear. You want us to do a podcast on conspiracies and
this
sports?
Has been, you ready for it, Ron?
What?
Walt Disney on Ice.
Walt Disney. Boom.
Boom.
All right. Once again, though, thank you for tuning in to the Walrus and Comic Podcast, the sports report that we know you're dying to hear every week.
Yeah.
I'm the Walrus. That's the comic. We'll see you next time.
And now, you ready for it?
The stare?